The old mansion stood at the far end of a deserted road, surrounded by dead trees and silence so deep it felt unnatural. Even the wind seemed afraid to pass through the rusted gates. As the girls stepped inside with their luggage, the massive wooden door creaked shut behind them on its own. Rhea laughed nervously and said, "Looks like the agent forgot to switch on the main power." Sanjana forced a smile. Great, perfect start. The darkness inside the mansion was suffocating. Their flashlight beams barely pierced through the endless hallways covered in dust and torn paintings. Every footstep echoed like someone else was walking beside them. "Why does this place feel so strange?" Pooja whispered. "Relax," Rhea replied. "We finally escaped hostile rules. This is freedom." That word echoed strangely through the empty house. Freedom. The girls had rented the mansion for unbelievably cheap. According to the property agent, the house once belonged to a brilliant scientist named Vikram, a man who disappeared mysteriously after his wife's death. No one had stayed there since. But cheap rent and freedom were enough to make them ignore the warning signs. That night, while unpacking, they joked about throwing a huge housewarming party. They planned to invite everyone from college, especially Siddharth, a charming boy Sanjana secretly loved. But behind Sanjana's smile hid something darker, a memory, a terrible memory. Just weeks earlier, Sanjana and her friend Anya had met with a horrifying car accident. Rain poured heavily that night. The car lost control on an empty highway. The brakes failed. The vehicle sped toward the edge of a broken bridge. "Open your seatbelt!" Sanjana screamed. Anya panicked. "It's stuck! I can't open it!" Sanjana jumped out moments before the car crashed. Anya burned alive inside. Ever since that night, guilt consumed Sanjana. She blamed herself for surviving. And deep inside, she believed Anya blamed her too. Days later, strange things began happening inside the mansion. It started with sounds, whispers, footsteps, a woman crying somewhere in the darkness. One evening, Rhea and Pooja discovered an old laboratory hidden beneath the house. Broken machines, strange wires, and dusty scientific equipment covered the room. In the center stood a bizarre television-like device connected to hundreds of cables. "It looks haunted already," Pooja joked, but Sanjana froze. From inside the machine, she heard breathing, slow, heavy, human. "No," she whispered, "someone is inside that thing." Rhea checked the device carefully. Nothing. "It's not even powered on," she said. But Sanjana could swear she heard a woman whisper her name. That night, she woke up screaming. There was a woman inside the TV! Everyone assumed her trauma and guilt were destroying her mentally. Even Dr. Naina, the psychiatrist treating Sanjana, believed the visions were caused by psychological stress. "You're suffering from survivor guilt," the doctor explained gently. "Your mind is creating hallucinations connected to Anya." Sanjana tried to believe her, but the nightmares grew worse. Every hallway in the mansion now felt alive. Sometimes mirrors reflected someone standing behind her. Sometimes doors opened slowly by themselves. And every night, Anya appeared. Burned skin, broken face, dead eyes. "You left me to die," the ghost whispered. One evening, while everyone was together, Sanjana suddenly disappeared. They found her standing in the scientist's laboratory, staring at the dark screen of the strange machine. The TV turned on by itself. Static crackled violently, and for one horrifying second, a woman crawled out of the screen. Sanjana screamed so loudly the entire mansion shook. But when the others rushed in, the machine was dead again. No woman, nothing, only darkness. After that incident, Sanjana's condition rapidly worsened. She began hearing Anya's voice constantly. "You killed me! You abandoned me! I won't let you live!" Siddharth tried comforting her, but fear had already entered the house like poison. Then came the night everything changed. Pooja was alone in the kitchen when someone called her name softly from upstairs. "Sanjana?" No answer. She followed the voice. The hallway lights flickered violently. At the end of the corridor stood Sanjana, head lowered, hair covering her face. "Sanjana?" asked Pooja carefully. Slowly, Sanjana lifted her head. Her smile was unnatural, eyes completely black, and then she attacked. Pooja's screams echoed through the mansion before suddenly stopping. The next morning, they found blood everywhere, but no body, only deep scratch marks leading toward the laboratory. Terror consumed the house. Ria finally admitted something was terribly wrong. "This started after we touched that machine," Ria asked Siddharth. Dr. Naina agreed. "There's something connected to that device, and whatever it is, it's feeding on Sanjana's guilt." Soon after, Sanjana collapsed into a coma. Doctors found nothing medically wrong, but her body kept weakening as if something was slowly draining her soul. Late one night, Siddharth and Ria heard Sanjana crying for help inside the mansion, even though her physical body remained unconscious in the hospital. The voice led them back to the laboratory, and then they saw it. Inside the screen, Sanjana, trapped somewhere dark and endless, her hand slammed desperately against the glass. "Please save me!" Ria stepped back in horror. "If she's here, then who's lying in the hospital?" Siddharth stared at the machine in disbelief. That's not her body anymore. Desperate for answers, they searched the laboratory and discovered old recordings left behind by Vikram. The projector flickered on. Vikram appeared on screen with madness burning in his eyes. "My experiment will change death forever." He revealed that after his wife Anjali died, he became obsessed with bringing her back from the dead. For months, he experimented with frequencies capable of connecting the living world to another dimension, a place where trapped souls wandered endlessly. Finally, he succeeded. The machine opened a doorway, and Anjali answered him. But she wasn't alone. A dead evil had followed her. Vikram's recordings grew darker over time. He kidnapped women for experiments, trying to force Anjali's spirit into their bodies, but every attempt failed. Then he discovered the horrifying truth. A spirit could only possess someone emotionally broken, someone who wanted to die, someone consumed by guilt, someone exactly like Sanjana. Siddharth realized everything. The ghost of Anya wasn't real. The machine had been manipulating Sanjana's trauma from the beginning, breaking her mentally so Anjali's spirit could possess her body completely. And now, Sanjana's soul was trapped inside the machine's world. "There's only one way to save her," Siddharth said quietly. "We have to enter the machine." Ria stared at him in shock. "That place could kill us." "I don't care," Siddharth replied. "I love her." Using Vikram's notes, they activated the device. The screen exploded with blinding light, and suddenly they were pulled inside. The other world was horrifying beyond imagination. A dead dimension covered in endless fog, twisted buildings floating upside down, shadows moving without bodies, whispers everywhere, and thousands of trapped souls screaming in darkness. Sanjana's cries echoed through the void. "Help me!" They ran through endless corridors that changed shape constantly. The darkness fed on their fears. Ria began seeing dead versions of herself. Siddharth saw his own body hanging from trees. The darkness wanted them to surrender. Then they found her. Sanjana sat alone in a cage of black roots, surrounded by ghostly hands trying to pull her deeper underground. "Siddharth!" she cried. They freed her and tried to escape, but suddenly the ground split open. Vikram appeared from the darkness. His body was twisted and half-rotten. Beside him stood Anjali, no longer human, her face stretched unnaturally wide with a terrifying smile. "You entered my world," Vikram growled. "Now your body belongs to me." He attacked Siddharth brutally. The dimension shook violently as trapped souls screamed around them. Siddharth realized the horrifying truth. The machine needed a living body. If Vikram escaped, he would return to the real world through Siddharth. There was only one way to stop him: sacrifice. Siddharth looked at Sanjana one last time. "I promised I'd save you." Before she could stop him, Siddharth grabbed Vikram and threw them both into the collapsing core of the dimension. The entire world exploded in blinding light. Riya and Sanjana escaped